And like that's the thing that drives me is it's that original love that I had from the beginning, you know, that the love of the music.
He rose as the savior of soul, a voice that could heal and a silence that could haunt. To the world, he was the bridge between eras, carrying Marvin's warmth, Prince's rebellion, and gospel's raw truth all in one breath. D'Angelo resurrected classic soul in a digital age, fusing gospel grit, funk rhythm, and jazz precision into something that felt ancient and futuristic at once. Brown Sugar redefined R&B in 1995. Voodoo became a masterclass in 2000. He didn't just revive a sound, he made live instrumentation and vulnerability feel like rebellion.
Because my whole thing is I want people to feel the music, first and foremost.
But behind that velvet sound was a man at war with the very system that praised him. Perfectionist, purist, deeply spiritual, D'Angelo couldn't stand how the world heard his music, but didn't feel it. To him, every note carried meaning. Yet the more people danced, the less they seemed to understand the soul beneath the surface.
I guess high off of love, don't know how to behave.
Today we're looking at 6 times D'Angelo spoke out. Moments when he peeled back the curtain and made his opinions known. From quiet confessions to unfiltered interviews, each one exposes what it costs to protect the soul in an industry built to sell it. These aren't rumors or clickbait. They're revelations from an artist who saw too clearly and refused to look away. So let's rewind the tape to the moments D'Angelo stopped being the calm singer and let his opinions rip. 6. Lauryn Hill snub, perfectionism. The collaboration that never happened still haunts people 2 decades later. D'Angelo and Lauryn Hill, 2 architects of the same musical revolution, never recorded a single note together for Voodoo, not one. And when people ask why, the answer cuts deeper than anyone imagines. Here's what nobody talks about. They were both at peak power in 1999. Brown Sugar had redefined R&B in 1995. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill had conquered everything in 1998, sweeping Grammys, selling millions, changing the game. And on that very album, they did record together. Nothing Even Matters, a sensual, soul-drenched duet where their voices locked in perfect harmony. D'Angelo flew to the studio. When Voodoo sessions rolled around in 1999, fans wanted something more, a spiritual groove to switch things up. Labels were ready for what could be the collaboration of the century. Producers were lined up. Fans were desperate for an album by the two.
If they'd have done an album together, oh my God.
But the idea collapsed before it even began, and the reason exposes something raw about how genius protects itself from the machine. The mystery deepens when you realize attention killed it. After Miseducation, Lauryn became a global icon. Every move was watched, every call was filtered. D'Angelo, already wary of the spotlight, didn't want to chase. He hated the press. All he wanted was 2 artists in a room doing what they love. But the more managers, A&Rs, and label reps got involved, the harder it became. Just layers of people and too much attention turning a simple collaboration into a corporate negotiation. Insiders leaked that they never even talked face-to-face. Too many middlemen involved, as reported in Rolling Stone, April 2000. But the story gets darker when you realize this wasn't just about one missed collaboration. The system had already started consuming both of them. D'Angelo saw it clearly. Middlemen don't just block connection, they control the art. And what he witnessed set the stage for his next realization, that the machinery didn't just stop unfinished work, it locked away finished work too. But Lauryn's proposed album wasn't the only collaboration that never saw daylight. Finished songs with another legend remain locked in the vault. 5. Erykah Badu. There are songs you'll never hear. Finished songs, mastered songs, songs that could change how you understand an entire era of music. They exist. Erykah Badu has confirmed it, but they're locked away, and the key isn't money or legalities. The key is something Erykah calls D-time. And nobody can explain what that means, which is precisely the point. D'Angelo and Erykah recorded together during the Voodoo sessions and after. Multiple tracks, not demos, not sketches, complete collaborations between two artists who helped birth the same sound, the same movement, the same refusal to compromise. These aren't lost tapes, they're deliberately vaulted. Erykah often regards him as someone who loves to take his time.
Really don't, because he takes his time.
And she also says this.
He's not a big fan of rushing anything, as you know.
The mystery compounds when you understand their relationship. They dated. They're even rumored to have had a child together. They remained artistic soulmates long after the romance ended. So this isn't about legal entanglements or personal beef. It's about something more obsessive. The belief that art has its own readiness, its own moment, its own logic that transcends market demand or fan pressure. But here's the twist. What if that moment never comes? What if the vault becomes a tomb? This should concern us because it's happening everywhere now. Artists with hard drives full of albums they won't release because the energy isn't right. Producers sitting on generational beats because they're not done, despite being done. The vault has become the new norm, and we've mistaken hesitation for depth. And that's when you realize what D-time really is. It's not a date, it's not a deadline. D-time is when D'Angelo decides the world is finally ready. Until then, the songs stay silent. Because in his universe, music doesn't drop on your time, it drops on D-time. And the reason those songs stay hidden? D'Angelo had already learned what happens when you feed the machine. 4. Industry. D'Angelo called the music industry a machine before we understood what that meant. Before streaming, before algorithms, before social media turned artists into content mills. To him, music is more than dollars in his account.
I did a duet with B.B. King on his album.
He saw the gears and the teeth the industry had, and he knew what they do. Chew you up, spit you out. But what makes this warning bone-chilling is that he said it in 2012, 12 years after he'd already been chewed, right as he was trying to climb back in. Here's what doesn't add up. Why would someone who escaped the machine's mouth volunteer to get near it again? Black Messiah was still 2 years away. He'd been silent since 2000. He'd watched the industry evolve into something even more carnivorous, reality TV, ringtones, and more. And yet he came back. Not naive, not hopeful, but eyes open, describing the exact thing that would try to destroy him again. That's an artist who knows the machine is the only way to reach people, even as it devours you for trying. The gap widens when you realize this isn't metaphor for D'Angelo, it's literal. The machine destroyed his image, his mental health, his creative pace, his relationship with performance. It spit out a version of him that wasn't him, a sex symbol, a video persona, a body without a mind. And 12 years later, he's describing it, explaining the disease that nearly killed him. He knew the sacrifices one has to make in the industry, and he'd already accepted what it costs. Why this matters? Every artist signs up thinking they'll be different, thinking their talent is the shield, thinking integrity is the armor. D'Angelo had both, and the machine still shredded him so thoroughly he vanished for over a decade. So when he tells you what the industry is, he's not warning you away, he's telling you the price. He also revealed more about the music industry and what it does to people.
People tend to look at the music as a product, you know what I'm saying? Almost like a assembly.
He's right. The machine has changed people's idea of music. The industry doesn't care about artists, only assets. And once you stop producing, you stop existing. But despite knowing all this, he came back. Not because he loved being controlled by the industry, but because he loved the spirit in music. And nothing, not even the industry as a whole, could stand against that. But fighting the industry wasn't enough. He also had to fight the label they slapped on his music to sell it. 3. No neo-soul. He rejected the name we gave his music, flat out refused it. And not in some precious artist way where he wanted a more poetic label. Neo-soul was supposed to be a compliment, an elevation, a way to signal that this was smarter R&B, more live instrumentation, more conscious. But D'Angelo heard something else. He hated this idea.
I never claimed I do neo soul. You know, I used to say, when I first came out, I used to always say, I do black music.
He never claimed to make neo soul. All he's ever said is he makes black music. Not R&B, not soul with jazz influences, not contemporary black American music, just black music. The term that predates all marketing, all genres, all attempts to slice the culture into consumer demographics. By refusing specificity, he was demanding the opposite of what labels want. He was claiming the whole ocean instead of accepting the aquarium. But why does this bother him so much? Here's where it gets layered. Neo means new, which implies the old soul is dead. It creates a before and after, and D'Angelo doesn't accept that. His music wasn't breaking from Marvin or Stevie or Donnie. It was channeling them, continuing them, refusing to let critics declare that soul peaked in 1975. By accepting neo-soul, he'd be agreeing that what came before needed updating. This matters because language controls legacy. Once you let the industry name your music, they control who gets to claim it, who gets to inherit it, who gets to profit from it. Neo-soul became a genre with boundaries, with gatekeepers, with a shelf life. It became something that could be over. And by 2010, think pieces were already calling it dead. But you can't kill black music. You can't declare it over. It's been here before the industry, and it'll be here after. Here's what he really hated. The same industry that coined neo-soul to sell him also used it to cage him. Radio knew which box to play him in. Award shows knew which slot to file him under. And when he disappeared for 14 years, the genre moved on without him. His silence was part of the plan. Neo-soul left its mark, sure, but when he came back, he reclaimed the throne under his own banner. Not a subgenre, not a trend, just black music, stamped into legacy, unfiltered and untamed. Yet rejecting the neo-soul tag couldn't protect him from the trap that came from his own artistic choices. 2. The body trap. The story of D'Angelo's body image didn't start with fame in mind. It started with a song. When untitled How Does It Feel was released, D'Angelo wasn't trying to create a sensation. He was trying to create a moment, something intimate, something spiritual. The video showing him shirtless and vulnerable wasn't about vanity. It was about connection. He wanted people to feel the song, not just hear it. But that moment of honesty spiraled into something else. The video exploded across TV screens, magazine covers, radio stations, fans. Everyone was talking about his body, not his music. What began as an artistic statement became a spectacle. For D'Angelo, it was never about sex appeal. It was about soul. But the world flipped it. Overnight, he became the sexy one, the man whose abs overshadowed his artistry. Promoters wanted him shirtless on stage. Journalists asked about his image instead of his sound. Even his audience began to see him through the lens of desire. He got fed up and spoke up on it.
A deeper thing for me, than just being a sex symbol or selling records. I really want to touch people.
Some took it as pride, but honestly, it was frustration. Because the more his image grew, the less people seemed to listen. What he created to bring people closer to his music ended up pushing them away from it. He'd offered vulnerability, but it was consumed, not understood. And that's what he hated, not the attention, but the misunderstanding. To him, music was sacred. It was supposed to move souls, not sell fantasies. Yet now, the industry and fans only wanted more of the surface, so he stepped back. No tours, no interviews, no new music. It wasn't a breakdown, it was rejection. His silence was his protest. Because what started as an honest attempt to make people connect to the soul of his music ended up stripping the soul from it. The image sold records, but it killed the connection he actually cared about. He didn't design the trap, he just fell into it, and he never forgot how it felt. But the body wasn't the only thing the industry commodified. It was doing the same thing to black music's soul. 1. The club takeover. D'Angelo noticed something before the release of Voodoo. People were releasing music like they didn't care anymore. All they wanted was to get the bag and move on. And the blame didn't just lie with the record labels. He was diagnosing a cultural shift that was already hollowing out the soul of black music. That one observation captured the beginning of what would later become the club takeover, the slow transformation of black art from spiritual expression to marketable entertainment. He called it an assembly line, and it was more than a metaphor for overproduction. It was the system that turned music into inventory. Here's what he revealed.
A lot of people that are putting things together just to make those millions and things and forgetting about the art.
Labels no longer waited for inspiration. They set deadlines. Artists stopped listening for truth. They listened for trends. The sound that once came from churches and backroom jam sessions was now being tested in focus groups and optimized for radio rotation. The result was what D'Angelo saw clearly. Music that once carried humanity now carried profit margins. That's where the club enters the picture. The club became the new assembly line, a space that rewarded rhythm over revelation, repetition over reflection. Songs were built to fill rooms, not to fill hearts. Hooks got shorter, drums got harder, lyrics got emptier. The soul that once anchored R&B, gospel, and funk was gradually stripped for parts, retooled for maximum replay value on dance floors. What was once sacred became social. Music that used to be cherished for its vulnerability became celebrated for its utility. It didn't matter what the song meant, only how it made people move. This wasn't just an aesthetic shift, it was economic conditioning. Artists realized that records for the club sold faster than songs for the spirit. The industry reinforced that cycle. DJs, radio programmers, and executives all chasing the same beat-per-minute metric. Black music stopped being a mirror and became a mood. The industry didn't ban soul, it simply made soul unprofitable. D'Angelo's warning was prophetic. When he spoke about the assembly line, he was naming the mechanism that turned artistry into output and faith into format. It's not that the music lost its beauty, it lost its breathing room. The club takeover was the point where black music's purpose shifted from expression to consumption. And that's what made it so devastating. It wasn't stolen from the outside, it was sold from within. Here's what D'Angelo understood that most never will. The greatest threat to black music wasn't censorship or appropriation, it was acceptance. The moment the industry embraced soul, it began diluting it. His silence wasn't surrender. It was the last act of resistance against a system that turns everything sacred into something saleable. And there you have it. 6 moments when D'Angelo finally broke his silence and revealed what he really thought. Whether you agree with his perspective or not, his uncompromising devotion to the soul of black music shaped an entire generation. These weren't petty feuds or celebrity drama. They were battles for the spirit of art itself. D'Angelo didn't just make music, he protected it from becoming product, spectacle, or background noise.